don't think fiscal year, it's different with this group. And the total budget went from 580,000 and change to 660,000. And this is based on the money that the federal government, Housing and Urban Development, is going to give to them. And there is also a rehab program. If you own a duplex or a three-family home that has rental units, and you're in need of assistance to rehab that home, there is money available. However, on rental property, you get the money. If you're approved, you get the money, you do the repairs, the payment of that, I'll call it a no-interest loan, is called when you either sell the property, or if the individual or couple who got that loan initially, when the last one passes away and the property is sold, the money is gotten from the estate and it goes back into the program. So, two things to remember. First-time home buyers, if you're approved and you stay in the home at least 5 years, that $10,000 does not have to be repaid. If you get money to help you make renovations to a rental property, then eventually, maybe not during your lifetime, unless you sell the property, that has to be repaid. So for the $10,000 worth of assistance, get your pencils ready. The contact person's name is Mary Ann. She's at Pro Home, and the phone number is 508-821-2514. I'll repeat it. Mary Ann, Pro Home, 508-821-2514. And if you missed any of that, just get in touch with me here at the Selectmen's office. And I can give you some more and certainly give you the contact information. The people who may want to apply for housing rehab money, the person you actually contact lives right here in Dayton, and he works in Taunton. And it's Jim Howland. And I can tell you on the rehab program, there is a waiting list. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't apply. We have, in the rehab program, we approved, last year we had, last budget year, we had $308,312, and we added about $310,392. So that money is available. And I've said this before, on these programs, money must be committed by certain dates and must be expended by certain dates, because if those deadlines are not met, any money that is not expended has to go back to the federal government, and that's something nobody wants to do, is return money. And once you get it, you want to hold on to it. And just to give you an idea, we did have the first time buyer program in the program year 2016, a total of 11 units were funded through the 90,000, which obviously means somebody didn't get 10, or a few people didn't, but the entire amount of 90,000 was spent, because it's up to 10,000. So if you have money for a down payment, you don't need all of the down payment money, which means you'd have money for closing, but it's up to 10,000. Of the 11 units, 2 of them were in the town of Dayton. Those were first-time home buyers. 1 was in Attleboro, and 8 were in Taunton. So it's good to know that all the tax money you pay, some of it's coming back to Dayton to help some people. Housing rehab, they spent $310,390, and they have a project that it says 5 units projected. There's 1 in progress in Taunton, and that one is $74,200. There are 6 applications out that they're waiting for them to come back for review, and there are 22 projects on the waiting list. So anyhow, that is what happened at the meeting. They meet every couple of months. But there is certainly some good news out there if you are a first-time home buyer, and between that single-family unit and the possible 10,000, that's a good deal. Yeah, I was really
It's like
surprised.
5% of the house price. It's
Yeah.
nothing to balk at. that's
And
for
5
sure.
years, you don't have to pay it back.
Yep.
Next report we have,
Chairman, excuse me,
oh, I'm sorry.
can I make a comment, please?
Sure.
Hello, everyone at home. Thank you for bringing that information forth. They're excellent programs. They've been in existence for quite some time. I have two comments regarding them. The first is the $10,000 is up to, there are income guidelines
Yeah,
and
we have some
qualifications,
info,
right?
yeah.
So that money will be adjusted based on whom actually is applying for it. But it's a great thing, you know, it's made to assist people who maybe just are not quite there and just need a little bit of help. And if you follow the guidelines set forth in the loan, it's turned into a grant at the end of 5 years, and it's forgiven. So it's a great program. The other thing is, the house that you first mentioned in Dighton Woods is part of the affordable housing stock. So I want everyone at home who may be salivating, thinking they can buy a house for less than $200,000 and turn around and sell it for $250, that's not gonna happen, okay?
So they can't flip the house.
They
Mr.
cannot flip
Commissioner.
the house.
Okay.
That house is held in perpetuity as an affordable home. That means the state agencies that oversee it will only allow a minor increase per year that usually follows inflation. So you will not be able to sell this house. If you do, you have to sell it to someone else who qualifies under the affordable program. And the house was meant to allow people with low and medium incomes to afford homes in the suburbs. So it's a great house, it's a great buy, it's a great program, but home flippers, stay home.
Thank you, Joe.
Joseph Pacheco, Raham, still running that operation as the COO, or CFO, or CEO
Of the,
of Pro Home.
oh, I'm not sure, I've got a name of Mary Ann, I don't know who's running it.
Which should be a contact then. I thought Joe Pacheco was running it. Was that based out of Raham, that program that you mentioned?
I thought it
The
was
number I had was,
Taunton
the number I had was Taunton.
It's a Taunton number.
number.
I believe he works now for the Commonwealth. I don't,
Okay, so he left.
I believe he
I think
does-
there was
he did.
something about that in the paper,
Okay.
yeah.
I can't afford to get that anymore, so.
Next report is the, regarding Bristol Plymouth FY18 budget meeting that Selectman Goulart attended.
Oh, and Mr. Ferry, don't leave, I got a comment for you from the superintendent at the end. So I met with the business manager at Bristol Plymouth and Superintendent McGallis, and they have prepared their FY18 budget. It's a draft, but it's based on the numbers that the governor released from his budget proposal. The Bristol Plymouth operating budget shows a 2.4% increase over the current year. There is not a capital assessment at this time. They only have operating budget. So we're not paying for a mortgage up there. What really stands out is that FY17, the budget is $22,607,092, and FY18 is $23,148,506, which is the 2.4% increase. Which is an increase of $541,414. And they broke it down, the budget of $23,148,506 minus Chapter 70, which is state aid transportation, and then local contributions, less anticipated revenue of $12,384,752. So the community assessments, of which we are a part, is $10,763,754. The number that really surprised me was, they gave us enrollment numbers, and the town of Dayton is showing a remarkable increase in students at Bristol Plymouth. In 2015, October 1st, we had 43 students there. October 1st, 2016, there was 65 students there. There's an enrollment change of 22%. October 1st, if you're wondering why are we using that date, that's the date that the state sets each time. So the FY17 is based on October 1st, 2016, and so forth and so on. That's an increase of 22 students, or 51.2% increase in Dayton students attending Bristol Plymouth. So that's a remarkable number. Berkeley has 16 less. Taunton has 5 additional. Raynham and Rehoboth have 2 less, and Bridgewater. But Dayton students, that's a large number. So Dayton's minimum contribution for FY18, and that's all part of that education formula, is $500,078, 500,078. And with the transportation assessment, which is $28,831, we have a total cost to the town of Dayton, again, based on the governor's budget, of $528,909, which is an increase of $179.66 over the previous year, or 51.2%. So, all in all, I was relieved that it's only 2.4%. We don't have final numbers from Dayton Rehoboth yet. We expect to be getting something on that pretty soon. But the superintendent from Bristol Plymouth called up and said that he would like to meet with someone from the board. And I gave a copy of this to Mr. Swartz for the Finance Committee, so he has that. While I was in his office, I noticed that on the bookcase shelf, there was a picture of Tuffy the train. And I made a remark about the train and what a hit it was in town and how happy we were to have it. And he talked about the feedback he got and how the students were thrilled with that project. So as a result of that, I got a copy of the Patches Smith production that was shown on Channel 9. And we sent it off to the superintendent because he hadn't seen it. But, of course, as we know, Mr. Ferry is listed as being Tuffy's new dad. So anyhow, Tom.
I thought you were gonna tell us there was a picture of Tom on his bookshelf. That's what I was waiting for.
Well, we haven't done that
Maybe,
yet.
I don't know.
We haven't done that yet. Or in the post office. But anyhow.
Okay, and the last report we have from Selectman Zografis regarding the Citizen Planner Training Collaborate meeting that he just recently attended at Holy Cross.
So I was fortunate enough to attend this conference. I had never been to one before, had never heard about it. Immediately when I got there, it was in the same venue, in fact, where we went.
Oh, that same building?
Yeah, to an MMA meeting.
So it's easy to find now.
It was easy to find. And it was very well attended. A lot of planning board members were there, city planners, town planners. Not too many selectmen, but the office manager of the planning board, Heidi, had told me about it, and I thought it looked pretty cool, so I wanted to learn some new stuff. So I attended a public health and land use planning workshop, and I'll just go over a couple things that I learned. I did learn that the largest impact on health were largely socioeconomic factors: income, race, education, housing and development. And they strongly urged municipalities to focus, in order to have healthier communities, to focus on things like health equity, data, research, and communication through things like travel surveys, how are people biking, walking, commuting in their communities, healthy eating, active living. They did urge communities to participate in things like Complete Streets, which, as you know, Selectman Goulart and Highway Superintendent Ferry have pioneered in our town. And they urged adopting municipal strategies to increase healthy food access, so the ability of people in the town to be able to access healthy food, not just food, food that's good for you, and natural. And so they suggest things like adopting municipal plans, policies, programs. They did mention right to farm as a bylaw or policy that can promote healthy living and healthy eating, agricultural preservation, open space recreation, things like community gardens. And it is also a way to bring the community together. A lot of this workshop was in the context of urban areas, so they did talk a lot about urban farming. Obviously, we live in a rural community, so we have actual farming. And the other conference, or workshop rather, that I attended was the Greening Community with Low Impact Development and Green Infrastructure. And Heidi was actually a little jealous that I went to this. She went to a subdivision securities workshop. And we did learn about the importance of stormwater, which Selectman Goulart knows a ton about, as well as Highway Superintendent Ferry, the importance of keeping water where it's needed. They do suggest their mantra is conserve, integrate, and restore. So the conserve part of it is maintaining your natural green infrastructure. If you got it, maintain it and keep it. Integrate was more like managing your stormwater, integrating low-impact development and green infrastructure designs into current development projects. And restore was more related to like redevelopment in urban areas. But one interesting tidbit, and I didn't get to pick the presenter's brain on this because there were a million people trying to ask questions after the conference had ended. But they did state that every dollar invested in land conservation yields about $4 in a return on investment in terms of having a healthy ecosystem and habitat. I don't know how they did that math. I would have loved to know what the output there is, how they quantify that. But I did find that interesting. And the last thing that I learned about, and I did not know this at all, is that there are model open space design bylaws that that exist in order to kind of help curb and direct residential growth in town. So I did find all this interesting, and it was a really, really nice conference, and I was glad I went.
Food was good the last time. Did
Oh,
they give you good food?
it was good.
Healthy food?
It was good. Very
Take care of the
good.
important stuff.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Tom, just a question. Is there any land in Dayton, town-owned land, that could be a community garden? That could be made accessible to the public? If somebody wanted to actually do this?
It's been designated, no. We explored some parcels on this area around the town hall. There's no way to really secure it from people trampling when no one's around.
Well, he mentioned urban areas. If you take the bus from Back Bay to Boston Medical, you go through, needless to say, the buildings are right up against one another. But every now and then you'll see, it looks like they took down a small place, and it's got a fence around it with a little gate, and inside there's all these little marked off areas in their gardens.
Yep.
And I was just wondering if there was any place, that we could,
We explored
fence
behind-
off.
We explored behind prime time,
oh, okay,
last time we had this conversation.
where the trees used to be?
Where the trees used to be, and we also explored between the pump station here and the 138. That one there is, you have more eyes watching, so no one's molesting the plants and stuff.
We do have, in the land use community, we do have parcels of land, I guess you could do that with. But they're not, they're kind of isolated. So I think that the concern you have is people going in there and trampling. But there are some lots that.
I know in urban areas, they did, all the models that they gave where it had been done, they made the community gardens in areas where people walked by readily.
Well, that's
so,
what-
we're not really, we're still trying to make sidewalks,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we may not have the
That's what-
foot traffic.
That's what you see, as I say, if you take the T bus to go towards Boston Medical. And I gotta tell you, some of those people really have green thumbs, because I saw staked tomato plants that were loaded with tomatoes, and, you know, they make, raised gardens, you know, you have the, and so some of those urban people have got country genes.
That was it, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thanks. The last agenda item, acknowledgements. Review, discuss, and act to acknowledge a gift from the Dayton Holiday Committee in the amount of $657.54 to reimburse the town for Tuffy the Train.
When we went to town meeting with that project, there's a special warrant article that the town would upfront the money to pay for Tuffy, and also the work that's being done at Dayton Rehoboth Regional Voc to restore, actually, they're building a whole new Santa and sleigh and putting a deck on the trailer, and so that project still works. But, excuse me, the project at BP, that's the exact amount it cost to do that Tuffy. It came in under budget, it came in ahead of time, and we were fortunate in that one of the suppliers of paint in the automotive shop at BP, when they saw the project, said, we'll give you whatever the paint, whatever you want, pick the color. And so that was a unanticipated donation. So that's what Tuffy actually cost us at the school.
We're gonna put Tom's picture on the front of it.
You'll have to take the one off the shelf for us in the superintendent's office.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the gift from the Dayton Holiday Committee of $657.54 to reimburse the town for Tuffy the train.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. That motion carries unanimously. Public input.
Do I have to go first, please?
Brett, pass it down.
I'd like to thank the Board of Selectmen for having this evening, and to the residents of the town of Dayton. The first issue I have was, I know it's campaign season, okay, and this, I feel is a big issue. Our bylaw that's written by the ZBA is very vague in regards to political signs and places, okay? But the state law, after conferring with the Secretary of State's office, specifically stated that no political signs shall be on any town property at any time. So that basically means that if you're running for office, doesn't mean you can just go campaign out in front of town hall with a sign. So, and the main issue is that we have different war memorials in this town, okay? Political signs do not need to be placed on a war memorial, but thanks to our building commissioner, one that was placed there at a location, I won't disclose the location, was removed. And the second issue that I want to speak about is that traveling west, coming into town over the Berkeley Bridge at around 2:30, 2:40 this afternoon, I just happened to see the young ladies from the agricultural school that were coming over. They were walking from the school, okay, coming over to here to use the field behind Town Hall. But one of the young ladies had a bag, and she was rolling it down the road. So it made, traffic quite narrow at that area. So I would like to see if we could contact our representative to the agricultural school to see if they could transport those young ladies over here by van, because it is a safety issue, walking up on Center Street. So that's,
Do we know, is it softball, we think?
yeah, it was the softball young ladies.
Softball.
Yeah, because they're utilizing the field out back. And we've, the town loves to have the young ladies there. They're still looking for a home field. They're trying to nail that down. And if a home field is decided upon in town, that Parks and Rec, we'll just, we'll tell the location. We'd love to see whoever's available on an afternoon after 3 PM, go take the ride, go watch the girls play. It's entertaining, it's free entertainment, and it'll be great on a great sunny afternoon, so.
Mr. Rhines, how many people were there, would you say?
Yesterday, I happened to watch a little bit of the practice and ran into the coach, and I counted like 26 or 28 girls, so
And they all walk?
they all walk
They
from
all-
the school.
every
so
day,
Every
every
day,
day.
they walk up, so it's a safety issue, that's
Yep.
all. I don't
Yeah,
wanna see
because
them-
no matter which side of the road that you're on over there, I mean, you're gonna be walking in either somebody's garden until we get the sidewalk in, or, you know, the only safe place is on Aggie property and behind the fence where the railroad used to be. Much beyond that, you're walking,
That's all, thank you. But again, thanks to the building commissioner, the sign was removed, but there was also one sign that was placed on playground property on School Street in North Dayton, and they don't belong there. They need to be removed. So, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Cable, thank you again very much.
Patient.
Have a nice night, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.